When Superboy Prime punched the multiverse, Jason Todd returned. Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. A question that is often asked is how can you create the Red Hood in this universe online? Or how can you get the Red Hood set of gear in this universe online? We are going to take a look at that right now. So let's get this party started. At character creation, this is about as close to our friend Red Hood as we can get. Obviously, the Bat Aura doesn't come from character creation, but this is the Halloween seasonal, so I thought, let's keep the Bat Aura. For the headpiece, I'm using the gas protection headpiece, although I will show another headpiece that might be a bit better depending on what you prefer. The chest piece is the Urban Slick chest piece, the belt is the simple utility belt, the pants and the boots are the paramilitary, and the gloves are the formal gloves. So at character creation, this is pretty much as close to our friend the Red Hood as you can get. I will give a bit of backstory after a while. Oh, here's a T-Sphere. I should make a video about the T-Sphere. Sadly, whenever I try to do that, the T-Sphere is hiding from me. Evil T-Sphere. The gas protection headpiece, sadly, it looks a bit more like a Cobra Commander than our friend the Red Hood. So here I went with the full slimline headpiece. So what I showed you was stuff you could get straight at character creation, but once you reach tier 2 and gain access to our friend Power Girl, you could use the House of L headpiece to recreate a somewhat good looking Red Hood character with the House of L headpiece. It's not exactly it, but it's pretty darn close. Not sure why my pets are going crazy today. So obviously the set of gear that you want is the official Red Hood set of gear. It's a set of gear that you can get in the Watchtower. I will show you how in just a minute. And it's a pretty darn good looking set of gear. And it is the official Red Hood set of gear. So if you want to create our friend the Red Hood, this is what you need. Although I do have a tendency to tweak it a bit. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Although the set of gear itself is not called the Red Hood set of gear, it's called the Gotham's Outlaw set of gear. And before you ask where can we get the Red Hood set of gear, let's take a look. I will take the long way around just in case you're a new player who just doesn't know quite your way around the Watchtower just yet. So as you can see, the teleporter will appear when you zone into the Watchtower. I'll show you the long way around to be able to get to the vendor. Just to be crystal clear, so that if you are a new player and if you still get lost in the Watchtower, which I see often enough, don't worry, it happens. I've seen players who were not new players, but who were still getting lost in the Watchtower because they were used to playing an evil villain in the Hall of Doom, and the Hall of Doom works a bit different than the Watchtower, and somehow they were so used to the Hall of Doom that they could not wrap their heads around how the Watchtower was constructed or structured. But here you can see if you have to go. I'll show it to you in the minimap in just a second. You have to go in the west of the tech wing. So basically you have the Watchtower, you have the tech wing over here. You have to go a little bit further west, and that is where the vendor, here we can see the vendor 24, 25, 26, or equipment supplier 24, 25, 26. So if we
Hello,
look at our old
Combatant.
friend,
The authorized number of training marks can be exchanged for sections of state-of-the-art combat equipment.
so you can see the aggressive outlaw, not just helmet, but aggressive outlaw set of gear. So that is the Red Hood set of gear, and you can see the prices in source marks. It's fairly inexpensive, 16 marks for the headpiece, 14 for the shoulders, 18 for the chest, 8 for the gloves, 10 for the belt. So it's not that expensive, so you should be able to purchase it easily enough. Sadly, there's two problems with that. First, I think you have to be combat rating 154 to be able to get the gear. But anyway, it's in the you have to pass at least 150 to be able to purchase the gear. So if you come to see your friend at the equipment supplier 24, 25, 26, and you don't see the gear, the reason is quite simple. You're just not high level enough. So raise your combat rating just a bit more, and eventually you should be able to purchase the gear from the equipment supplier 24, 25, and 26. The reason for the name for the supplier is that way back when they were trying to give us a new episode every month, but the trade-off to be able to do that was that each month we only had like 2 or 3 pieces of gear per episode. So basically, in order to be able to get the full set of gear of Red Hood set of gear, you needed episode 24, you needed episode 25, and you needed episode 26. And obviously, if you are a free-to-play player, you won't be able to purchase that set of gear. If you are a legendary player, no problem. If you are a premium player, you are going to have to purchase episode 24, 25, 26 to be able to purchase the equipment from all of Friend over here. And just to play on the safe side, I will use my evil dark side character to show you the very same vendor and the Hall of Doom. And again, I will take the long way around just to be safe, just to make sure that you guys understand where you have to go. Because the Hall of Doom is structured a little differently than the Hall of Justice, and then the Hall of the Watchtower. I'm not sure why I had the Hall of Justice in mind. So the Hall of Doom is a little different than the Watchtower, but not that different. So you can see you have the very same little vendors here. So here we have our equipment supplier 24, 25, 26. And that's the very same gear that you can see here. So if you are a hero player, you have to go to the Watchtower. If you are an evil villain player, you have to go to the Hall of Doom, to the equipment supplier 24, 25, 26. And again, same as in the Watchtower, it is just to the left of the tech wing. So we have the tech wing over here, and here we have our little vendors in the Hall of Doom. Although personally, I kind of like to tweak the look just a little bit. Like you can see here, I'm using the DC Bombshell Harlequin Belt. Sadly, you have to purchase that style from the marketplace. There's a DC Bombshell Harlequin set of gear that you can purchase in the marketplace, and the belt comes from that set of gear. I kind of like to use the Batman Beyond gloves, and I kind of like to use the Spindrift shoulders so that I can have a nice Batman emblem on the shoulders. The Batman emblem itself that I'm using right now is the BVS Batman emblem. It's the emblem that comes from the Batman vs Superman movie. Sadly, that emblem is no longer available in the game, but you could use the Batman Rebirth emblem if you want to. I think I have it here. Okay, you can see here on my Arkham Knight Armory, I have the Rebirth emblem, so that emblem is still available in the broker. And yeah, eventually I'll make a Batman Arkham Knight video, just not today. Personally, I kind of decided to use munition powers. Quite simply, our friend Red Hood uses a whole bunch of guns, explosives, and that kind of good stuff. So I figured using munitions, it could have been gadgets, but I have a truckload of characters that uses gadgets, and munition did seem to work to fit a bit better with the theme of the character. In terms of weapons, there's 2 weapons that you could probably use. Obviously, you could use, I had an invisible gun here there for half a second. So obviously you could use a rifle. And one thing you could do also is use a rifle. Let's try and find. Let's go to see our little training dummy. I rarely use this one. So basically you can use the rifle with weapon masteries if you want to use dual pistols. And of course, you have the various weapons from the munition set. This one doesn't really fit. I should probably get something else, but it's the finisher move for munitions. So you could alternate between rifle and dual pistols as needed if you use weapon masteries. I'll show it to you right now. So basically you have to purchase all the rifle combos. You have to get the rifle weapon mastery. And in order to be able to get the dual pistols weapon mastery, you have to purchase all the weapon dual pistols combos. And then you have to purchase the dual pistol mastery. So once you purchase all of that and all of the rifle combos, then you can get the full auto mastery and the slipshot mastery. It does give a bit of mobility to your character, so that you're not always static. You can move around a bit, but it does give a bit of mobility to your character. Although personally, I kind of prefer to just use dual pistols. There's a few reasons for that. You can go full auto like that, and also dual pistols is probably the one weapon where you can fire in two directions at the same time. And also, it does have a lot of mobility, depending on the weapon combos, of course. So your character, even though you're still using the weapon, you can still easily move around while you're using the weapon, depending on the combos that you're using. So you can decide, either you go with the rifle and you use the dual pistol masteries, or you straight up use dual pistols, you decide. I thought dual pistols with the various munition powers, that was enough. That worked well enough to be able to recreate our friend, the Red Hood. Obviously, our friend the Red Hood is Jason Todd, who originally was Robin, so I made him a Robin Armory, of course. And spoiler alert, if you did not play Arkham Knight, in the Arkham Knight's game, the evil Arkham Knight is also Jason Todd. It's been a long time since I played Arkham Knight. I barely remember what the story actually was. So I don't really remember why Jason Todd became the Arkham Knight. But originally, Jason Todd was supposed to be Hush. Eons ago, when there was the little comic book called Batman Hush that was first released, uh, eventually there was the reveal that the evil Hush was Jason Todd. At some point, the bandages that Hush is wearing were torn apart, revealing Jason Todd underneath. But then it was revealed to be a fake out. It actually was Clayface, somehow disguised as Jason Todd. But don't ask me how Clayface even knew Jason Todd was used to be Robin. Doesn't really matter. But in the end, the reason why they did that is that originally it was supposed to be Jason Todd who was Hush, but so many people guessed ahead of time the big plot twist, the big plot reveal, that they decided to scramble at the last minute and to change it to Tommy Elliott, who was a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. But then I guess the seed was planted for the return of Jason Todd, because when at first we thought Jason Todd was back as the evil Ush, it was a holy crap moment. And having a basically what people saw as a Dark Robin or a Dark Batman, which ironically enough now we do have the Dark Robins, but what people saw as a Dark Robin that would become a nemesis for Batman, it actually was a pretty darn cool idea, which sadly they decided to change at the last minute because a lot of people had figured it out, which they probably shouldn't have. Like the idea was still a good idea. It didn't really matter if people if they didn't fool people. It would have been cool to have Jason Todd being Hush and being one of Batman's new deadliest opponent. Sadly, they didn't stick with it. But then, of course, they couldn't let it go. So not long after that, they had our friend Red Hood, who turned out to be Jason Todd. Ironically enough, pretty much everyone knew ahead of time that Red Hood had to be Jason Todd. That were trying to reuse that idea from Hush. But in this case, they stuck their guns and they still went through with it, even though a lot of people had guessed ahead of time the identity of the Red Hood. And the storyline was a bit sloppy. Actually, they made an animated version of Under the Red Hood, which I thought was much better than the actual comic. So I couldn't help but think that they did improve the storyline a bit compared to the comic. Not sure why exactly they felt they had to bring back Jason Todd. Is it because the Marvel at the same time were bringing back Bucky as the Winter Soldier? I'm not sure. But either way, our friend Jason Todd was brought back as the evil Red Hood, and somehow it did strike a chord with the audience. A lot of you guys seems to like the Red Hood quite a lot, and people are asking videos about the Red Hood quite a bit. So I'll try to make a few more videos with the Red Hood in the future. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I guess that's going to be pretty much it for now, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.